Assalamu alaikum. It's cold out here. If you're following me for a while, you might have known that I have made quite a number of videos about Andrew Tate and him becoming a Muslim. But the recent events had me debating, and I thought I might show a response to that about what Andrew Tate and his arrest implies for us as Muslims. For those of you who are interested in my reaction only, I have posted the timestamp below so you can skip to that part. But for others, let me brief you in like 15 to 20 minutes. Andrew Tate is a controversial figure and well known for his anti-feminist ideas. He reverted to Islam quite a while back, but recently he has been arrested on the charges of sex trafficking after getting involved in an online heated battle with Greta, the young activist. So I thought let's do something unique today. Instead of me making a video informing you about the information, I'll react to a Smile to Jannah video and Tate arrest the truth. And I'm gonna put my 2 cents in between because Brother Zishan does an amazing job doing these videos. Do check his channel out. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Those individuals that don't get why some people resort to conspiracy theories whenever something unusual happens, it's because of what has been done in the past that shows what they're capable of doing now. Let's take, for example, look at Operation Gladio, where they organized false flag attacks against communists by hiring and funding Nazis. If that's not direct enough, Operation Paperclip, where 1,600 Nazi German scientists were employed by the United States. That's not enough, then look at Operation Bloodstone, where they used again Nazis to fight against the Soviets. If that's not enough, then let's look at Operation Washtub, where they planted Soviet weapons in Nicaragua to disparage President Jacobo Arbenz. And I haven't even mentioned Operation Northwoods, which was a proposed false flag attack. That's when you carry out an attack and you blame it on someone else. So this was a proposed false flag attack on civilians just so they could blame it on Cuba and go to war with them. Assalamu alaikum guys.
Alright, so before we move on to the next part, let's start with those first. So he mentioned quite a lot of conspiracy theories, and he said that the reason people believe in conspiracy theories is because the government have done them in the past. Many that he has mentioned, but also the
weapons of mass destruction,
which the US found no evidence of. Let me ask you a simple question. Do you think your government tells you everything that happens transparently? If the answer is no, then congratulations, you believe in conspiracy theories. Let's move forward.
Welcome to another episode of Andrew Tate's arrest has caused uproar, has caused celebration, depends which part of social media you're in. But if we are methodical and not emotional about this, bearing in mind that no one has the case file, so no one can really talk about whether he's innocent or whether he's guilty, they can only offer opinions, and bearing in mind that any form of control that is put forward by the government is first tried on polarizing figures. You saw Shamima Begum. Everybody was able to give their opinion and say no, don't let her in. For the rest of us, it implied that any one of us that's born in this country with a dual nationality can be stripped of their citizenship. And lo and behold, what happened after that? Exactly this. Because of the threat of terrorism, we saw America put forward the Patriot Act. We saw Prevent here in the UK, Schedule 7. So you could see all of these powers being introduced to control and curtail us. Now, how on earth is this useful? Is this going to be another conspiracy video? No, I'm going to link everything. Let me give a quick shout out to our...
Alright, so, yeah, there are quite a number of organizations present in many European countries, including UK, where the brother lives in. Prevent being one of them. And if I remember correctly, I did a video on the Prevent as a gay activist, Muslim activist, Kakan Qureshi, came to a school and tried to tell Muslim students that it's okay to be gay. The link will be mentioned here. And in that video, when the students tried to say that being gay is not okay, the teachers and the headmaster shouted at them and told them to
shut up and listen. I don't care.
Yeah, these kind of controls exist in the USA and the UK and many European countries. And on the other point about the case files, yeah, it's true, we don't have the case files exactly. I cannot say he's innocent or guilty until proven by the court. So at this point in time, I'll go with innocent until proven guilty. But let's see if he can change my mind further on.
Climate change is involved in this story. The T, I don't want to get flagged, is involved in this story. And of course, we have our polarizing figure. And another thing that I wanted to say about Shamima Begum was that she was smuggled into Syria with the help of the Canadian Secret Service. And this individual was also responsible for smuggling another 140 people. And to who and to what? ISIS. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention that they were majority British citizens. The Canadian Secret Service are linked with the United Kingdom, the United States, the New Zealand, Australian. They call the Five Eyes, yeah? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, let's not look at the figure here. Let's look at the way the things have transpired. And let's also analyze what people are saying as well. Well, the first thing is...
So, the case of Shamima Begum is quite an interesting one. If you haven't looked it up till now, I suggest you to go ahead and look it up. Shamima Begum was trafficked into ISIS by the Canadian government itself to inform terrorism, basically to aid ISIS in their own terror operations. And this was done so by the Canadian government, who are also linked by many other intelligence governments, like shown by the video in Five Eyes. So basically this was a Western plot. And when it was found out, her British citizenship was revoked and she was expelled from the country, even though she was trafficked as a teenager. But I like the way where this video is going, so I'll say less and watch more.
Women have come forward claiming that they have been approached by people to lie on the Tate brothers. And this is something that as Muslims we know as well has happened, where people have been hired by MI5 to spy on Muslims. The Canadian Secret Service that smuggled Shamima Begum into Syria was exactly this. He was somebody that wanted citizenship in Canada. The Canadians then approached him and then hired him. This is mentioned in the book Five Eyes by Richard Kerbaj. The second thing was Greta Thunberg. Yeah, you had this back and forth going between Tate and Greta Thunberg. This issue has been used to hail her as some climate hero, and this has been used to elevate her. People that are looking into ways of control and coercion that governments are using, I've already mentioned a few. Another is climate. Just like viruses are of course bad and curing them is good, but it's not as simple as bad and good, because on the one hand you're going above and beyond to put a certain narrative across. For example, curing the virus is of course priority, but the way it's being done with the lack of research and then presenting it as fact, that's
okay. Yeah, the way the media manipulates things to present them to you in a way that might be the main narrative of a country affects the country very much. If you want an example, you can go and see the old news clipping of the Iran. I'd show them right here of how the masses were manipulated to support the war.
wrong, of course. So it's the same with the climate. It's being exacerbated, just like the tea threat as well. All of these forms of control are exacerbated. So there's elements of truth. So when you question these things, you're seen as an idiot, a moron, like it's obvious, duh, global warming. Yeah, okay, but when you take it to the extent that it's being used to coerce you into staying at home, not being allowed to travel because of certain emissions or whatnot, that's what becomes an issue. And that's why even when Tate is arrested, the word T is also used as well. T was used against polarizing figures, people that we know, we hate. Oh, the guy's got a hook hand. Oh, he's covering his eye. He looks weird. He's got a big beard. If you say something in schools, it's going to be used against people that disagree with other narratives as well. The other thing was the pizza box.
Okay, so yeah, the usage of terrorism, especially in the case of period figure Muslims. I mean, I'll be if you have a terrorist, a white terrorist, doing blatantly obvious terrorist thing like going into shooting, school killing, he'll always be labeled as a psychological murderer or someone with psychological attack. If you have even a Muslim name or someone with a beard or Indian or brownish descent, he'll be labeled as a terrorist first thing in the news. And that's something that is well established. We see it all the times. Only the Muslim terrorists, Muslim criminals have their religion mentioned. You'll never see in the news, oh, the Christian guy stabbed a lady. If a Muslim guy stabbed a lady, the news will be something like this. Oh, Muslim guy stabbed the lady and terrorized the town. Yeah, this is the reality. And this is the world we live in, where Muslims are the boogeyman for the USA and UK or all other nations to escape their own consequences.
They only found out that he's in the country because of a pizza box. Really? Are people actually believing this? Like, when you enter a country, they have their border control. They have the documentation that you have to process before entering that country.
I mean,
you
it's
cannot
right.
enter that country without the authorities knowing you are in the country, you're out the country. And to claim they found out from a pizza box is actually disrespectful to the Romanian government, I would say. To say that, no, they're not paying attention at the borders, but hey, Tate releases a video, yo. The other thing is Romania.
Okay, yeah, the pizza box incident was quite funny. I'll show the pic here. So Andrew Tate made a response to Greta, and in his video, the pizza box was shown, and the people on the Twitter led it to extreme conclusions. They concluded that the Romanian police only caught Andrew Tate, arrested him because of that pizza box and that local chain number. I mean, if you enter a country, you have to get passport, you have to go by air security, you have to go by local authorities, and the house where Andrew Tate is staying in, he even broadcast that house live like 3 to 4 days ago before his arrest. So people will believe everything they want to believe, and that is just ridiculous that a police only caught a well-known public figure just because of a local pizza box.
Is a country that has been used as a CIA black site. That's where they send people over to get them tortured, because America can't do it themselves and other countries have lax laws on human rights and torture. So Romania has been one of those countries, and so has Poland. So this is to say that the country can be leveraged by, of course, the United States. And it's been mentioned in the news that the issue did reach the US Embassy and they got involved. So to assume United States foul play being involved here is not outlandish. And this is, of course, not to mention, look, we're not saying the guy is right, the guy is wrong. I've just stuck with the point that he's a polarizing figure. Yeah? Why is he a polarizing?
Yeah, I mean, USA has been involved in almost all of the conspiracy in the world. If you look here in the list, USA has been involved in these countries for toppling the government, for causing imbalance and all other stuff. We all know how much USA has done in this world. For the world, peace, freedom.
Figure, he's spoken against taxes. He's spoken against multinational corporations like Nike and talked about them and how they avoid tax. He's talked about abuse, I can't mention certain words, of Balenciaga. Yeah, he's the one that kind of popularized it. He's talked against atheism, against pornography. He's talked about taking control of your family, being a strong man, masculine, looking after your dependents. Yes, there have been clips that have been taken out of context. I mean, you can take anyone's clips out of context. So again, it's not outlandish to assume that he has cheesed off some powerful people. But again, some people might be like, because look, I mean, who are the powerful people? Yeah. On the one hand, you've got somebody like Tate who makes videos. You know what I'm saying? And he's just reaching the people. But on the other hand, you have banks. Yeah, you have people that actually have leverage. You've got like...
Yeah. So, on Tate's viewpoint, like Tate has said a lot of things. And a lot of views on certain things, certain properties. Can his language be improved? Yes. Can his communication be better? Yes. On my point, if you ask me, the simple question, is Tate a Muslim? Yes. Is all of his views Islamic and his actions Islamic? No, it's not. Do I agree with all of his views? No, I don't. Then, do I defend Tate on his crime? The issue is, the crime isn't established yet, and I'm of the opinion that he's innocent until proven guilty. I mean, if a person goes and accuses you of rape, does that mean you are automatically assumed guilty? No, you are innocent until or unless proven guilty, and that's the approach I'm taking with Andrew Tate. You can tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments below. I'll be interested to hear your opinion.
Like Epstein and Prince Andrew and stuff like that. Now, those sorts of people actually have power. I wouldn't say Tate has power to that level the way people are trying. Has he pissed off certain people? Yeah, of course he has. But the issue at hand here is that alongside this story, you've got another story of JP Morgan. Oh yes, one of the biggest banks that we know. And it's come in the news that these people have been seeking dismissals of lawsuits by Epstein's accusers, yeah? And it's not just JP Morgan, it's Deutsche Bank as well. So these are like major institutions that are trying to just clear away the whole Epstein thing as well, which is nuts. This should be, if you really care about abuse and trafficking and stuff like that, like, I'm sorry, you should be saying this hand to hand with what's going on. Hand to hand. But you know what it is? Because Tate's a polarizing figure, people are going to jump on this. People are going to say, yes, good. They're not going to look at what's taking place and what this could mean for the rest of us. No. He's there for 30 days. Oh, no problem. Why is the word terrorism being used? Why is it that after he's converted to Islam? Why is it that when it took place, his arrest, look at the pictures that are there.
Okay. So yeah, let's pause it right here. I mean, the exact moment. But yeah, about the cases. If you're going to treat Andrew Tate for sex trafficking accuses just as this much and not release the case file, we don't know the extent to the crime which is even excused. But if you're going to accuse Andrew Tate, and if he is really a criminal, then you have to accuse everyone and every other person who has been involved in sex trafficking as well, like the Epstein and douchebag mentioned by the politician. Yes, it's hypocritical if you don't do that. And that's the double standard we see in the West. That's the double standard that's usually used to silence the polarizing figures.
Yeah. It's like the media was present, and look at the way it's been photographed. The way he's sitting in the car, he's in the middle. That's enough for the photographer to go there and get a picture. Who does that? Are you ever seated in the middle? And again, if we talk about abuse, on the one hand, you've got people that go against the establishment. Like you've got Julian Assange, yeah? He had a website called WikiLeaks in which he platformed leaks that were done that made governments like the United States look really bad. So lo and behold, a woman came forward and said, yep, I've been abused by him as well. Same that we're seeing with Tate. But on the other hand, we saw Balenciaga, the famous brand. What happened?
Yeah, before I move on to the Balenciaga, yeah, Julian Assange. When is Julian Assange coming out? And what was the crime? Just because someone made USA look bad, which, to be honest, to be frank with you all, we both know USA has done quite a lot of bad stuff all over the world. It's not a secret anymore. It's out there, it's open. Thanks to Julian Assange, and he's in jail.
Happened with them and their BDSM dolls? Nothing.
Yeah, this issue. I mean, a story for pausing it right now. This brand, I don't even know how to say it. This brand took children, literal 3-4 years old, I don't know the exact ages, and posed them up for pictures to promote their brand. With what? With BDSM and sex toys and explicit scenery like that? I mean, these are 3 to 4 children. You are concerned about pedophiles, you should be concerned about them. And there was an uproar all over the internet. What was the response? They simply deleted the pic and said sorry. Nothing whatsoever. No case. Nothing. That's the concern of the people when it comes to pedophilia or posing children as sex objects.
Really. What's going to happen to JP Morgan? No, people aren't even going to talk about it. What's happened to Epstein's list of clients? Nothing. Yeah. What happened to Prince Andrew? The guy's still walking around like happy days. So I just wanted to mention some of these things, and for us not to get carried away in the media frenzy. Now also on the other extreme, you've got people that are saying, yeah, no, he's definitely not done anything. I know the guy. Look, that you can't say that either. Like, just because you know the guy doesn't mean that you know everything that he does. Like, that doesn't make sense either. Another thing is, he said,
yeah, don't go to either extreme. You don't know he's a criminal fully yet, but you don't know he's innocent fully yet. And I think the most suitable opinion right now is that innocent till proven guilty. Take that quote, and it's from the jurisdiction of Islam.
It would happen oh, therefore he predicted it. No, I mean, if you're talking about certain issues, you know at the back of your head that, look, it's only a matter of time till these people wisen up and realize how much money they're losing, and they send somebody around or they make a few phone calls and then Bob's your uncle, mate. It's been happening since day dot. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was the hand sign as well. Some people are saying, oh, what could it mean? Is he part of them or is he this? No, his father used to do it. His father was a grandmaster in chess or something, and he looks up to his father and he does that. Even if you do go into the symbolism of this, it's a mudra for power. Yeah, it's one of these yogic signs or whatever. And yeah, those people that are saying, yeah, so what if you speak against power? It's freedom of speech. You can do what you want. No. Don't say stuff like this because it's nonsense. Yeah, Edward Snowden.
Yeah, about the freedom of speech. There is no country in the world, even in the USA, where there is absolute freedom of speech. There is always control. The freedom is just an illusion, to be honest. I mean, try going to USA and hiring people for terrorism. Freedom of speech. Right? I mean, that's an extreme example. Just look at the case of Julian Assange. Freedom of speech. There are many cases out there. There's always control. There are always people in power who don't want their secrets revealed. There's always papers hidden from the masses. There's always the illusion of the freedom of the speech which the high tables want.
Blew the whistle on the NSA in the US. Issues happen for that guy. You know what I'm saying? He is now in Russia. If he goes back to the US, he's finished. Yeah, look at Gary Webb. Look at, again, Julian Assange. Yeah, look at Catherine Gunn. Look at Daniel Ellsberg. All of these people went against the government. Yeah, went against the powers. You had even democratically elected leaders that went against certain corporations, like Mohammad Mossadegh. Yeah, he was a democratically elected leader of Iran, but he was overthrown by the UK and US because he went against BP. He wanted to nationalize the oil. Yeah, it's the same. There was another corporation that Allende of Chile pissed off. Yeah, Lumumba of Congo pissed off the wrong people as well. They were democratically elected, but they peed off the wrong people and then they got knocked off. So people that believe in conspiracies and stuff like that, it comes from a logical place. Yeah. And especially if you're not white. It's been happening to us from day dot. You know what I mean? So before people start making you out to be some nut job, no. You know what? It actually makes sense. I can see where you're coming from, but I would err on the side of caution as well, not to go on either extremes. They say the truth lies between both extremes. Let's leave it there, guys. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah. I mean, it was quite an interesting video and quite an informative one, showing off the hypocrisy of the USA when it comes to the freedom of speech, as well as the illusion of the freedom of speech. Major controversial figures like Julian Assange, Andrew Tate, and others mentioned here. And USA has been involved in my country as well, toppling governments and buying off politicians and stuff like that. It's been present since day one and everyone almost knows of it. So if someone believes in conspiracy theories like the 9/11 being a conspiracy and other stuff, they are coming from a reasonable place. I mean, USA does get profit from all of these plans. The ones mentioned in the start of the video are the proven ones that have been made by the USA against its own citizens. So yeah, USA is a ruthless country. Whenever there is some place where he wants to go for oil or from other stuff, they will go because freedom, right? Democracy, liberation. Yeah, these are all the banners that USA will put forward on the face and try to say the world that we are the good people. We are the good people. We are gonna go and liberalize the country. Freedom, give them freedom and get the oil and all the resources of their country and make them bankrupt. Yeah, that is the face of USA and that is what's been happening. But yeah, I agree with the advice on that rate. Let's err on the side of caution and let's say in between. Not going to either extremes, and inshallah, we'll both see how this course concludes. As always, take care. Assalamu alaikum.